All right, good ladies and gentlemen. My name now David Gold, as you all know, and I welcome to Kobe Radio and Television Station. Station where they giving a back to back as it is suburb, as it happen for the Obodo Nigeria. You know, still on this same election matter, and this all eyes on the judiciary. And with Tinubu, you understand, presidency and his administration, most especially on his portfolio, where he share for his suburban people, his cabinet of minister. Yes, it's very, very important. I play us this wonderful clip from this wonderful man, an analysis, an electoral analysis. It does explain. Say even the INEC himself is not a democrat system, which means they are planned to fail. And when you plan to fail, every other department himself go do it, go fail. That's yes. You go fail. Watch this clip. May you hear what this man talk. Before I can't talk my mind, what in my mind for Tinubu, most especially INEC himself.
Election without democracy. First, the electoral process or the practice of that election was devoid of democratic principles and values. And brilliantly pointed out by the director of the school, Professor Sam Amadi, in his presentation. If you plan to fail, not the political class, not the observers, not the voters, but INEC itself plan to fail by not honoring democratic precepts and values and norms, then such an election will have no democratic value or content. The second most fundamental one is that we're actually building a democratic infrastructure that is really devoid of democratic values. The very fact that of an election shorn of democratic intent, democratic practices, democratic precepts, will mean that you're producing a democratic or political system that is answerable to that kind of election. So the election, one, is devoid of democracy, and democracy it produces is devoid of genuine democratic values. That's why it is two-pronged. So the implication is that for us to really restore Nigerian political journey or trajectory to its proper democratic balance, and they should not plan to fail. And they should observe and honor the principles embedded in the Electoral Act. Respect and honor the principles embedded in the text of this practice direction. This is what we want to do. This is how we're going to do it. The day of the election, there will be direct, visible, viable, timely, seen, immediate transmission of this result to INEC IREV. Real time. If this statement is made as verbal declaration and in writing, you must be held accountable to that. And if you fail to deliver on that, people will lose confidence in that process. And public trust can only be garnered when they see public office holders honor their words and honor the text of their writing. This report has proved conclusively that INEC failed to honor this. It's not the politicians, not the media, it's not the voters. That's number one. Number two, if INEC has a window to say, okay, we pause after collation to look at all the issues raised by all the contending parties before we can go ahead and press on with announcing who either won or who didn't win. And if they fail to deliver on that, even when the law specifies you should do so, your own law, you are comfortable with, then you are deliberately planning to fail. That failure is producing election without democracy in two directions, like I said initially. The election itself is not democratic. The system itself is not democratic.
All right. When I don't hear them, which means we are not supposed to be blamed to Tinubu because INEC himself now him be the source of all this nyama mago way the political system. Muhammadu Yakubu now him be the problem of Nigeria. Make una not blame Tinubu, even though we know say there was a bribing, you know. We understand say some money owo gongo is involved. We understand that, but notwithstanding, if the INEC system himself was a platform of transparency, Tinubu no go get in mind to take bribe Yakubu. If not be say Yakubu himself na yeye man, well like a gunja too much, he too like a gunja now. If he not like a gunja, he no go plan to fail. Because I believe that this country, anything where we want to do true, we dey do am. All right, make una hear wetin come talk about this all eyes on the judiciary. This same man give analysis. So Say all the Obodo Naija youth, where would they put all the billboard everywhere? Say all eyes on the judiciary. Say no be say we commit offense, so more than year offense before I go talk waiting in my mind.
The courts are now an extension. They are now an extension of the electoral process. The court is integrated democracy in broad sense. But for elections, the court, from the presentation here, the courts are not part of that election. Almost everybody is in court. That means the legitimacy of everybody from governor to senator to rep to the president is in question. You swore them in, the president is producing ministers assigning portfolio, governors are swearing in commissioners assigning portfolio. People like us do not comment about them until the Supreme Court weighs its view. That is when the election is complete. The completeness of this election that started February 25th will be ascertained sometime in November or thereabout when the Supreme Court has ruled. So for me to comment about policies of government, either at any level, local government, state, and federal, is premature. So I'm going to hold the gunpowder dry until such a time that the tribunal, first, the Supreme Court, has finally laid this matter to rest. I will then speak without restraint in what I believe is right or wrong. For now, I take it as given.
Do you have confidence on the judiciary?
Until we get there, I'm not in the judiciary. I'm not a judge. I'm not even a lawyer. So I'm saying that given the way the country has been formulated, the democracy has been formulated, and given the experience of the past, one may have a moment of doubt or a sense of doubt, a sense of being skeptical. But one have to give up hope, live on hope, and say, okay, the fundamental nature of this struggle for Nigerian democracy, the fundamental struggle for the survival of the Nigerian state is such that the judiciary should take note. So if you tear down billboards to say all eyes on judiciary, there's nothing wrong with that statement. Have it as a billboard, have it in flex, have it everywhere. All eyes on the judiciary. That is what it should be. Our eyes are not blind like the judiciary. They say they are blind because they are arbiters of justice. They are impartial, they're objective, they're fair, and they're just. We have eyes, we're seeing and we're watching them. All eyes on the judiciary. That means I still hold that hope that with our collective millions and tens of millions of eyes on the judiciary, that judiciary will do the right thing.
Una don't hear him. Say una hear him. So na be say na Yakubu, Muhammadu Yakubu, na him be our problem for this country. No be Tinubu. Yes, I bet you won't beat me. Una no say tell gong, me and Tinubu na 5 and 6. We be like fire and water. We be like a fire and water. We not agree at all. Now. Even though you use mago to enter that thing, now persist here, make it take gradient. Because if Yakubu himself, no do mago, no agree to do mago, he no go say one carry himself will give a return or certificate of return. You understand? All right, this all eyes on the judiciary, not be waiting supposed bring wahala for this country. In fact, you know the judiciary said that they cover their eye, them they know they see. But we our eye they open now, we blind. You blind me, you not blind enough. So why we they see everything where them know they see. All right, that is by the way. Then on this Niger matter, say mo could go work here, be mo could go wall. Where our president Tinubu, INEC president, he don't talk to say make we come go war. Make a first play of this clip. May he hear what it in Niger man first talk about Democrats. That is our system is illegitimate. As even the ECOWAS chairman himself, I theater that place is not legitimate. So see, don't hear our first. Yeah.
The other one who went there was making more noise than everybody else is Alassane Ouattara. Alassane Ouattara, a Democrat. And Alassane Ouattara is a Democrat. He's finished building democracy in La Côte d'Ivoire. And is now moving on to Niger to restore democracy. Alassane Ouattara. Unbelievable. This is a guy who was installed by the French army. The French army overthrew Laurent Gbagbo and put him there as head of state. He is going to fight another coup d'etat. Incredible. Alassane Ouattara, who amended his country's constitution, who gave him only 2 terms, and continues to stay in office, knows about democracy and is going to restore democracy. Unbelievable. We can analyze all of them. Why? Tinubu, his election results have not been confirmed yet. He's still in dispute. He also is presiding over a meeting of ECOWAS to go and restore democracy in Niger. What happened to these leaders? What? Are we in cuckoo's land? Unbelievable. I wish I could take a peep into the meeting room. These are leaders who are scared of their own shadows. Leaders who know that their misrule is catching up with them. They are so frightened. And out of their fright, their capacity to think has escaped them. Under international law, no country or group of countries can legitimately declare war on another without approval by the UN Security Council. These ECOWAS leaders, have they got a UN Security Council approval for what they are doing? They want to restore democracy, but they don't respect the law. They have no respect for the law at all.
Allow us to breathe. Bim, 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 bim. Do not suffocate us, Tinubu. Allow us to breathe. Oh. Do not suffocate us. Oh, allow us to breathe. Do not suffocate us. Hey, allow us to breathe. Do not suffocate us. So now don't hear our president of the INEC president. When I hear waiting this analysis talking, they analyze some say this is a matter where they talk. Say all these old leaders them, they won't use their systematic mentality because they know say they are bad governor and bad behavior want to catch up with them. Who now? Abi, is Tinubu not part of them? You won't beat me, don't be true. Don't be true, I talk. About our drug case, we still on the matter, we don't forget. You know the truth. We know the truth too. See, make her tell us. Anything where they happen for this country, except we won't just keep quiet like say, we know the zero, we know the zero, the suburb for area. We they say Nigerian day. For everywhere. Okay, you don't imagine, say, you get country for this world when Nigeria know they. Our eye they see with a chook. In fact, Nigeria, instead of them calling us giant of Africa, they're supposed to call us giant of Ameba. Because nothing they suburb for the other one will not know. Don't be trying to talk. Not true now, my people. Don't me, I don't close Baba for this junction. Because the matter they go like this. A must is a mercy. That mandate must be returned. Me, I don't know who get the mandate, but I know say LUP 70 pole, LUP 70 pipe. We got that day. I don't talk about all my people, but I don't close in my mouth. But you come on,
Oya sanwó mi,